Hey, what is up, YouTube? Boy, do I have a story to tell you. That is Eric. He is one of my subscribers. Note the tube going into his throat. Eric was on a ventilator. Eric was in a coma for a month. When Eric woke up, he could not walk. Okay, this video is going to go on the health and fitness playlist. We are going to talk about what the heck happened to Eric, and more importantly, how can you prevent the same thing from happening to you? Our story begins with Eric just being a normal human, a young man with his whole life ahead of him. Right? I have permission to tell this story, by the way, from Eric himself. All right, as you can see from the progression, look at his midsection. This is a few years later. Not in the best of health, he started gaining some weight. And as you can see now, that is his future wife right there. And again, you can see a little bit of the deterioration. Now, Eric didn't gain weight on purpose, and neither did you. Neither did I when I did. Here's a wedding reception, and as you can see, he's pretty big there. He had to get a really large size suit. And things like this, they never end well. Now, at this point, they were expecting their first child, and, his wife was bigger from the pregnancy, and Eric was bigger just from the stress of it all. Eric developed a blood clot in his leg, which traveled to his lung, and that's called a pulmonary embolism. He was found unresponsive at work and rushed to the hospital. According to the scientific journal Respiratory Investigation, obesity is strongly associated with pulmonary embolism. Now, pulmonary embolism actually kills 100,000 Americans per year. It actually kills more Americans than homicide. All right, so self-defense, cool, but also defend yourself against this. If you're obese, your chances are more than double of getting this. In fact, a famous TikToker and YouTuber, Waffler69, recently died of the exact same thing. And if you're wondering what that YouTuber ate, his diet was not the healthiest. You usually don't think McDonald's is just going to straight up kill you, but you're rolling your dice when you live an unsustainable life, as Eric learned. Eric was on life support for a month, and when he finally woke up, he could not walk. He had to learn to walk all over again. He had partial paralysis and numbness in one foot. It's from neuropathy. So, check this out. His daughter had recently been born, so his daughter is going to learn to walk as a toddler, and Dad also had to learn to walk again. When he was released from the hospital, Eric was severely depressed. Can you imagine the stress of being in a coma for a month? You can't work. There's no money coming in. The bills are going to pile up. Just the financial stress alone is going to kill you. But he gained more weight. This was his heaviest. He's 300 pounds. At this point, he was almost dead. Look at him. Look at the inflammation. Look at the bloating. At this point, he could have died at any time. But Eric wanted to live. It was at that point that Eric started trying to lose weight, and that is when he found my channel. Right? He was looking around for resources about health and fitness, and around that time, I had started doing some health and fitness videos because I had lost a significant amount of weight. Here are some stills from videos at that period of time. In this video, I was just urging people to eat vegetables, high fiber, low calorie vegetables. I also advised people to go on a low sugar diet, to remove simple carbs from their diet, to remove fast food, junk food. I discussed different types of fasting, such as intermittent fasting, and I passed on advice from credentialed doctors on that topic. I also advised people that they had to be in a significant caloric deficit to lose body fat and to avoid weight loss plateaus. I got a lot of hatred at that time, trolls, haters, and just condescending assholes who, for whatever reason, just couldn't stand that I would dare to get healthy. But as those people were hating on me, Eric was actually following my advice. Eric actually listened. This is Eric today. Notice he is not fat anymore. I think it took him maybe 5 or 6 months of implementing the different tips that I offered in the videos. And notice, look at his legs, look at his arms, look at his neck. He's not fat anymore. His neck is no longer wider than his head. This picture was taken on his recent vacation to the Philippines, where his wife's family is from. This is the before and after picture of Eric. In the before picture, he's 300 pounds and almost dead. In the after picture, he's about 185 pounds, and Eric has also started running 5Ks as well. And soon he will begin weight training. As I did advise people, you need to go 15 pounds below your goal weight and then bulk up to it. And he's going to implement that soon. He's going to start with the weights soon, as per my advice. This is a recent picture of me. That's what I look like. You know, you haters, it's never too late to apologize. The people who hated on me when I started the fitness stuff, it's never too late to admit that you were completely wrong and that I was only trying to help you. Back then when you hated on me, if you had only taken my advice, you could be where Eric is now, in the best shape of his life, reclaimed his health, watching his family grow up. Here's what I used to look like. This is a still taken from 8 years ago, one of my videos. I used to be way fatter than Eric. I used to look like a sumo wrestler. So that was me 8 years ago. And this is me. And this is me now. This was a still taken from my most recent air gun review. Boy, what a difference 8 years makes, right? So the reason Eric listens to me is because he knows that I know how to lose body fat. That is indisputable and unquestioned. These pictures were taken last week. Last week, I took this right after my last calisthenics workout. I'm 48 years of age, and now I don't care if you don't like me, because if you have a medical problem and I have the cure, then the rest of my personality is really irrelevant. If you had cancer and I had a cure for your cancer, then would it really matter if I was a jerk? I mean, I'm not a jerk. That's your own projection, your own panic and desperation because your poor health. But it wouldn't even matter if I was. Oh, you're arrogant. It wouldn't even matter if I was. If you have a medical problem and I know the cure and you need the cure, then it doesn't matter if I'm the devil himself. Either you need that cure or you don't. But hey, why should you listen to me? This is a meal I ate the other day. We've got some broccoli, cauliflower, butternut squash, spinach, peppers, parsnips, beets. I also eat a lot of protein for the running and the weightlifting, but for most of you, a big plate of vegetables would be a good place to start. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Eric was eating fast food and junk food and McDonald's on his journey to health? Do you think he was eating deep fried foods and French fries and drinking soda? Of course not. Of course not. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Congratulations to Eric for stepping up and just being there for his family.